Clap. 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 Clap.
And I'm ballin', yep, I'm ballin'. Ballin', yep, I'm ballin'. Harlem, pull your wallet out for this one, baby. I'm ballin'.
Move with me.
Yo, what's up, man? What up, baby? If you hearing that, I'm balling. Yep, I'm balling. Then that means you here, baby. You are here, and we are at episode 3 of the Project Wolf Show. What up, baby? What's up? How's everybody doing? I'm feeling good. I'm in great spirits. I just want to check in, man. How is everybody surviving, man? Like, I ain't even get a chance to talk about the snow the last episode. So I'm hyped that we didn't get a snowstorm this week, but at the same time, they said next week we getting one. So, you know, we out here shoveling cars. I'm in the New York, New Jersey area all the time. I don't know what city you live in, but it was pain with the snow maintenance so much that, you know, people on social media, yo, don't park in my spot. I know me, after the storm, I was out there. I went and shoveled my car out, and then I was double parked for the whole day while they did that, because they was just doing cars bad. Just so if you a victim of that, I mean, I'm sorry for you. But outside of that, I hope you staying warm. It's not a game. The weather is wicked, and I think the thing that everybody is not doing, you're not checking that what it feels like piece on the weather app. Weather say 3 degrees, feel like -5. That's pain. It say 10 degrees, but it's gonna feel like 1 degree. Nasty. So yeah, we do it every winter. It's brick outside. It is brick, man. But I hope everybody is good, staying warm. Know what I mean? But I definitely don't even want to get into no topics. I don't want to get into no topics without taking the time to express my gratitude for my family. We just had a phenomenal weekend. Everybody came through, supported my niece. So she is so full of life, and I think I love my niece Parker so much because when I look at her, she's like a full combination of all of the funny things connected to my family. This girl. So Parker, little Parker, happy birthday, baby girl. And I'm so happy I got a chance to share your birthday with you. Know what I mean? So happy birthday to my niece Parker. I hope everybody had a phenomenal weekend. But we here, man, and I'm getting right into the things that's important to me. The things that's important to me. I'm going to just talk a little bit, just a little bit, about that new J. Cole. I'm going to talk about it. Know what I mean? And again, that's why I love the show, because there ain't no real agenda. I say what I want, do what I want. It's a beautiful thing for me to express myself. If you don't know, J. Cole dropped a mixtape, 4 tracks, about 11, 12 minutes, brought back the old nostalgia, had my man Clue on there, and again, you wasn't outside for Clue. You wasn't. So it's cool. You know, my son and my little brother was around this weekend, and it's like they don't even know nothing about they don't know nothing about none of that. Or walking, you know, me and my brother used to walk down 3rd Ave, up and down 3rd Ave, and it's CD spot after CD spot, new Clue, different mixed, like, and to even just to get on the DJ Clue, that's why I really fuck with Fab heavy, because like Clue and then Fab was the first person that I felt like I could relate to in regard to like age difference and whatnot. So everything Fab was talking about, I was trying to get or was gonna get or I had. You know what I mean? So, but back to J. Cole. I'm going to say the lyricism A1, and that's Cole game. Like the lyricism, for with most respect, I don't really got too many instances where J. Cole don't go off. And shout out to my son M. My man Mark, I was in Binghamton, and he put me on a J. Cole. He put me on like, yo, nah, this nigga nice, So that's how far back it was. And I'm like, all right, all right, he nice. And then the Mr. Nice Watch, Hove, then you already in. Know what I mean? No freaky. You good. And he just been bodying shit. I can't front. He got his own lane, his own style, running around, protesting, all that fire. But when it comes to these tracks, the lyricism A1. When you think about the climate of music now, a lot of it is a vibe. I'm gonna catch a vibe. You have to listen to Cole. And for some people, they don't got the mental capacity for that. But salute to Cole for bars, just going off different pockets when it comes to the flow, fire. My issue is the beat selection. Not sure what the science behind the beats was, but I will say it's very challenging to not connect Cole to the artists that already did those beats. And it's not even like, because you have beats that other rappers will body, and and that's the Clue era. Not for nothing, that whole mixtape era, the game was you getting somebody else beat, shredding it, right? So when I think about those beats, when I heard the beats, I immediately thought of all of the originals or some of the freestyles that, in my opinion, were harder than what Cole put out. And it's very challenging for me to connect Cole to the beat selection. And I don't know, maybe that, I don't know what the science was behind that. I ain't do no research, nothing. But I do know it was a zillion other beats he could have chose, and he still would have been able to flame with the same lyrics, because it's all BPMs in regard to like how fast or the tempo of the beat. So in my mind, I'm like, nah, he went off. But when I hear the beat, I can't connect Cole to those type of beats, because he doesn't give off that persona like that. He's more woke, conscious rap, great metaphors and whatnot, but it's not some of the murder, death, kill that's attached to those beats that he chose. So that was my only thing with the Cole mixtape. But fire. A lot of little indirects in there, some subliminals that honestly I think the mixtape wasn't really for answering about Kendrick and Drake, and it's just cool to just rap. And I think that's fire, especially in this climate where it's just a lot of maybe social media, music, some dancey, trendy stuff. There's not stuff that make you want to rewind, and that's what I got from this mixtape, was like, oh nah, I need to hear. I need to hear. So yeah, man, shout out to J. Cole with that phenomenal marketing genius strategy with putting the mixtape out, then giving people an opportunity to cop, the fall off and all that. So you are redefining the music era, distribution, all that. So kudos to you, Cole. I just have my reservations on the beat selection, but who am I? You know what I'm saying? Who am I? But that just brought me back to like DJ Clue mixtapes, DJ Drama mixtapes. Like, I think a lot of the world has no idea that most rappers would just get into a space where they needed to be heard. So I would say 50 was probably one of the most notorious for taking beats and, you know, putting them out there. And at that time, it wasn't no business behind it. It was just like, yo, I just want that buzz. I want to be out there in the streets. So that was fire. I think now, if you think about a mixtape, you think about publishing, you think about licensing and all of the other legal stuff I don't know about. But you can't just go take people's beats and just freestyle after freestyle on there no more without having to deal with the legal matters. So it was cool. It was cool to get some nostalgic bars in that from Cole. So salute to Cole. Hopefully the Fall Off album fire, but it was just dope. As I transition, when I talk about music, one of the things that was crazy, Cole went into Victory. Victory beat fire. And I think there's just some beats you gotta kind of leave alone, or you should try to supersede what somebody else did. So original Victory, I think obviously my man Biggie went crazy on that, but Busta Rhymes don't get enough love for amplifying that song. Busta Rhymes do not get enough. Real life nigga, run front the back. Yo, you cannot front on Busta. Like, Busta amplified that song, in my opinion. And then 50 did it with Banks, and 50 intro very similar to Puff, fire. And then Banks victory is legendary. Banks victory is legendary. So when I think about a beat, I think about all of that, and that's the only reservations I had. I seen my man Tony Yayo was talking about Banks versus Fab, and I had to chime in, as those are two of my favorite rappers. If I had to make a list of my favorites, they wouldn't be far off from each other. But if I had to vote, I think that I would have to give it to Fab because of the impact. I mean, Banks has some fire, but it's a very, very tough argument when you're talking about Banks if you don't talk about G-Unit. And I don't necessarily feel like, even though Fab and the Desert Storm, DJ Clue, Wave, fire, but it wasn't as powerful as G-Unit. And it was almost like 50 hit the streets, put everybody in the headlock, lit everything up, and then I'm gonna let my, almost on some Banks was like a fucking dog off the leash, and he and that hunger for more, crazy. Of course, I think in sales and stuff like that, Banks might have it over Fab depending on the situation, but I think that my issue, Fab is Fab, and Fab has always been Fab. And I feel like if you a real Lloyd Banks fan, you've lived through some of the transition and the changes in his flow and how he decided to change pockets. I think that even Victory, it was clean lines. Ain't a problem getting dressed because my closet got more owls than Pathmark. Clean lines. And as he started to put out different mixtapes, H&O, it's almost like a little bit of that Eminem faster cadence, more words, if you know what I'm saying. So when I think about leaving with your Nikes burgundy, white tee burgundy, you match now, back down, that's clean. And then I think about when my time goes by, before my time goes by, they gonna raise a nigga jersey in the sky. And it was more words. Very similar to Hove too. If you a real Hove fan, you remember, I don't kick it up honey. I'm so wicked you want it. My tongue is tied from licking my fingers and counting up hundreds. You remember when Hove was rhyming fast on some Bone Thug shit. You remember. And even with later Hove, 444 Hove was more cadence talking Hove. But if you had to listen to Jay-Z Blueprint, clean lines that make you want to and say the lines smoothly, and then it was almost on 444 is a talking, or he might be rhyming off cadence, and so that's my only gripe when it comes to Fab and Banks. And watching Banks and all of the other further projects that he put out, it was almost like the cadence continued to speed up. So Banks' most recent stuff, it's a lot more words, which makes things a little bit more difficult in my opinion, because Banks was a puncher, still a puncher, but that's the only edge I would give. And plus, Banks wasn't as social, so that's another piece. Fab was always outside, always in the limelight. That was the wave he wanted to, But in regard to lyricism, it would be a very, very, very tough decision when you go line for line when it comes to Banks and Fab. But both on my list of favorite rappers. But I just thought that was cool. I just didn't think it was reasonable for Yayo to kind of speak of Banks without lining up the entity of G-Unit and the impact that had. So shout out to both of them. But it's been a dope week, and anytime I could talk about something, I'm with it. That was fire. J. Cole, fire. Banks versus Fab, fire stuff. You know what I'm saying? So definitely cool for music, and I just feel like I everything is preference and based on whatever it is you like. I guess that's the same thing when it comes to preference. But I think about who I got on my gym playlist and who's my favorite rappers. So Jay-Z is my favorite rapper, top one. No disrespect to Biggie. Listen, I learned Biggie Smalls through Jay-Z. When I was young, I knew Biggie's raps. I didn't understand them, right? And being such a huge Jay-Z fan, I learned that the lines, so I had to go back. Like, oh, Hov said this, and then people were telling me, nah, Biggie said that. And then I had to go back. But it still didn't change the impact, the flow. So Jay-Z, my favorite, right? And when I think about my gym playlist, it might be maybe one song, maybe 1 or 2 songs on my gym playlist from Jay-Z. Because when I think about Jay-Z, it's more hustle, mentorship. When I'm in the gym, it's murder, death, kill. It's murder, death, kill. So you know what I mean? I don't have that much Jay-Z. Ransom. Shout out to my man Ran. Ransom on my gym playlist because the lyrical ability to slaughter, it translates on what I want to do in the gym. Ransom, definitely one of my favorites. I ask my wife, I'd be like, nah, that's my Uncle Ran. Ransom, like Jay-Z, raised me. Same thing with Fab and Banks, Cassidy, Kiss, Beans. These people raised me, and you don't. I come from an era where we walk down a block and we'll say, yo, Kiss said this, Beans said this, Hov said this, and that was just a part of the conversation. No music on the phone, nothing. It just was, yo, you heard what such and such said, and we praised lyricism. So I feel like sometimes when you talk about preference and what you like, everything is subjective based on your flow. Like when I'm in a gym, I want to pick up stuff, I want to get crazy, and I don't necessarily have any Jay-Z songs in my mind outside of You Don't Know come on, I'll be like really looking in the mirror, know what I mean, and telling niggas put me anywhere on God green earth, I triple my like it's a very self-confident type of song. But most of the songs on my playlist is murder, death, kill, and also some pop or songs that got some pain connected to them. So definitely interesting to listen to or think about. Shout out to my man Ran. Shout out to Jay. Like I say it like I know them. I don't know none of them. You know what I'm saying? I want to say I got one of my sneaker boxes signed by Fabulous because he came to the Foot Locker I was working at. You know what I mean? So shout out to Fab, man. Shout out to Fab. But again, man, I like to spend time talking about important stuff that's important to me, talking about hot things, and of course, we're always going to talk about sneakers, man. And I'm going to get right into how challenging February is lined up to be. February, All-Star releases. The Black Nike Mind is probably going to be crazy based off of the other chaos that the first colors. I don't think the resale is going to be that wild, but I still feel like people are going to try to get them. The All-Star ones, I don't know how I feel about those. I seen the pictures of the Tiana 3s. I got to get those in hand, and I would probably want to appreciate those like a piece of art. I'm not a big fan of when the sneaker is altered. I feel like all collabs, the sneakers should stay in its original form, and they should just add a little stuff to, I don't ever want to look at a collab sneaker and be like, what is that shoe? I haven't really seen too many pictures of the Tiana 3, but it just looks altered. They got some stuff on it. It looks like a rose or I'm not sure. I didn't do my due diligence on the shoe. I just seen the pictures, so I'm not sure exactly how I feel about those Tiana 3s. But what I am gonna say, I think people are gonna sleep on that Bad Bunny Adidas. Nah, that Bad Bunny signature shoe. They did those other releases. It was cool, but it's looking a little Fear of God-ish. It's looking like a little bit of hints of like the ID Crazy basketball sneaker that dropped. a while back. But I think that Bad Bunny Adidas, in conjunction with the Super Bowl, all they got to do is back those out on a performance, is going to be crazy. But I like those. I personally like those, and I might need to get those. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Bad Bunny. He entire movement. He is the government. He could be the Spanish government. That's all I'm gonna say. But I'm not sleeping on the other All-Star releases for the basketball. So that Giannis, that whole theme with the KD, looked like the little Doom Man on it and all that. Fire. The Nike basketball lineup, the Devin Booker. I'm not going front. I think Kobe is the only one who could have gotten a pass with the silhouettes not changing. So if you really, really pay attention to detail, Kobe won an entirely different, like a new mock-up, bulkier model. The mask didn't really respond too crazy to it. I do like the masterpiece Kobe won, but right now the Kobe game is getting back to what I would say normal. You used to be able to just walk in and just get Kobe's. That was it. And same thing for LeBron. There was some joints that was just selling out, but Kobe's were always on the market. Now you got the Kobe 2, and the Kobe 2, in my opinion, didn't get that much love with the black patent leather toe, but it wasn't physically appealing to like a style. And at the time, basketball was still style, and Kobe was always performance. Kobe 3 with the waffle grid on it, another shoe. So because of that response, the Kobe's was chilling in the stores. Kobe 4, the world is, I'm playing soccer. He has Steve Nash wearing the sneaker and all that. Kobe 4 introduced the world to low-cut sneakers, but the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you can argue that essentially the silhouette was the same with a little bit of changes. The 6 and the 7 had the most details, but I'm only saying that to say that the Devin Booker, the 1 and the 2, very similar. Then you take the whole concept of like other shoes and reimagining them into the Devin Booker 2 shoe. I'm personally not a fan. I feel like every silhouette should have some type of change. So although that Devin Booker 2 for the Nike All-Star basketball lineup is kind of fire, I'm just not a fan. You got the fragments that I spoke about earlier. Not a fan of the fragment union situation. You should have gave me something entirely different. The Valentine 4s I think are fun. It's a fun shoe. Anytime I say fun, I always think it should be grade school. That's just me. Those purple 10s, I got to see those in hand. Because if it's like that sail or like that cream or that off-white, I'm not a fan of them. I think it should be white, but it's probably more like that ceramic, like that cream. But it's cool. I love 10s, a big fan of 10s. But I don't like when the color block for the laces is all one color. So that all purple, nah, they could have got spicy with like a gray and then a little bit of purple accents or something like that. Of course, Laker 4s, I'm feeling those. I think that's going to be fun. But I say all of that to say, anytime it's more than 2 to 3 releases, it's going to be a tough month. So hopefully these taxes hit. Hopefully that tax money hits so that people can, But I also like when it's a variety like that because people could choose. But February's always hit hard. February has always hit hard. So I'm looking forward to the February releases. I do want to touch point on the Costco Nike Dunk release. I just think the idea was fire. It was one video that surfaced when you could hear the associate saying, "Oh, nah, we just got them this morning and we sold them this morning." That is fire. I don't know how many institutions could do a inventory lineup where it comes in and you can sell it. At least when I worked retail, we had a manifest. We knew what was coming in. We knew the restocks. We knew the release. You can move around. You can play a little. You can move. You can hit certain people up and all that. But if it is true that the Costco's that did sell it, it just dropped, you got to go get them. Fire. The whole member thing, I think, honestly, it should have been a member price, and then other people should have had access to it, because when you're gonna drop something like that crazy, how easy is it for you to, I guess you could walk in, get a membership, and then cop. I don't know if you could cancel, but for a situation like that, I'm not a big Nike Dunk fan. I do have Dunks, but I'm not a Dunk fan because it was already associated. When I got into Dunks, it was associated to skateboarding. I was trash at skateboarding, so that was a complete dub for me. But shout out to Nike, shout out to Costco, shout out to the inventory team, the marketing team behind that, because it just was just cool. It was just cool. You was looking at your phone and you like, oh shit, can I get the Costco's? Can I get them, right? So that was definitely fire. The videos were like, oh, only one person, or however they managed that, fire. And then for the people who have nothing, they don't know nothing about the sneaker, and you in Costco, how fire is that? Like, oh, now I'm gonna just cop these just cause. Know what I mean? So definitely fire. A phenomenal week or upcoming week when it comes to sneakers. Really excited about that. And got a few more review videos coming up. I also would like to extend my gratitude. I made it to about 34 subscribers. You know what I mean? So definitely fire. I had a phenomenal January on social media. Averaged like 132,000 views. Fire. I find so much joy in this. I'm trying to make it more and more common. I want to drop an episode once a week. Then I want to clip it up and share with you guys what I got going on. What I would like to do is get some help. There is no secret. I'm a parent. I'm talking to the parents. I'm talking to all the parents, male, female, you in the community, don't matter. I would love to hear or discuss, and we could talk outside of this. Like, yo, hit me, just message me. How are you having the talk with your kids? How are you having is it the birds and the bees? I don't, how are you having that? And I only say that to say, I grew up exposed. I feel like whether it was the music, whether it was my community, I was exposed. So by the time I'm 7, 8, an argument will start with, I get more girls than you. I get more girls than you. I F more girls than you. And I would just be looking at, the hustlers or the older people just looking and trying to laugh and trying to understand. So by the time I'm 10, 11, it's conversations. We playing house, people trying to, you trying to be able to say what the older people are saying. So I was exposed to the talk and that style and those thoughts at a young age. I'm so blessed and proud of the man I've become, but Lord knows what I was exposed to, it could have been a whole different situation. So I asked my son, I say, yo, y'all had sex ed? Y'all got sex ed? Now, I went to Manhattan Center High School for the first portion of high school. Then I finished high school in Albany. Shout out to Albany, 518. Yo, I got so much love for Albany, Capital District. My dad turned his life around, and whatever happened in Harlem, we finished the high school upstate. And I love Albany. Everywhere I go, Albany's one of those places that everybody will catch eye contact. So you walking past them, they'll catch eye contact with you, hit you with the head nod, stare at you, say hello, give you proper love, salutations, greetings. That's the type of city. It's only in New York that you got to keep it trucking. You got to keep it moving. If you in New York, you moving and you catch eye contact with somebody, they will run down on you. Yo, what's up, bro? What the fuck you looking at? What's going on? Everywhere else, and I done been everywhere. Syracuse, Binghamton, Ithaca. I done been all over the place, and people will catch eye contact with you. How you doing, brother? How you doing? God bless you. Like, that's fire. But I learned that in Albany. I learned that the stores are not 5 minutes away. I learned that all the streets are not lit up. And the craziest thing about Albany was, the people on my basketball team, they had cars. I'm like, oh nah, this is different. I'm over here trying to get fresh. I think I'm stunting. Nah, I'm driving. I'm like, yo, nah, they on a different, they on an entirely different tangent. But anyways, in 9th grade, we had sex ed. Well, I'm lying. I had sex ed in 8th grade, Isaac Newton, and I had sex ed in 9th grade. But I vividly remember sex ed in 9th grade because one thing she did was she gave out a flyer. She handed out a flyer, and it was like the prices of children, the prices of Pampers, the average price for college, what you would have to save. It also had like the divorce rate. It had the rate of single parents, the outcome of single parent households, all of this stuff. And that's what I, as an older person, I'm reflecting back. That's what I took from the whole situation. So I asked my son, I'm like, yo, y'all had sex ed? Like, cause I'm just trying to find a segue, right? And he like, sex ed? Nah. So now right there, I'm thinking I'm in the clear. Like, oh, I bet. So I'm trying to be able to open the doors without sounding crazy. So I'm like, yeah, I took a class. They taught us about stuff, and they would teach us about the importance of condoms. And I'm like, you know what a condom is? And he said he like, I don't have sex ed. This is him. He like, I don't have sex ed, but I know how it works. I think I know how it works. And the only reason why I brought it up this particular weekend is because I'm not gonna lie. A lot of times I'm talking to him on the phone. He little bullshit voice, little baby voice or whatever, and I ain't thinking nothing of it. He came in the crib. He's like, "Yo, what's up, pops?" And his voice was so deep. I was like, "Yo, nah, this little he getting." So I'm like, all right, I gotta have a little talk with him. So we talking, and I'm like, all right, so you say you know how it works. He like, my man like, yo, yeah, so all I know is you take your thing, you put it in her thing, and I'm like, yo, what is going on? And I laughed it off, and then we spoke a little bit about safety precautions and whatnot. So for me, and I didn't even talk to my daughter, and my daughter's older than my son, so I would love to know how my peers are having that talk, right? Are you comfortable? Are you vulgar? Are you explicit? Because that's one thing I could say. By the time I start living with my pops, I'm 16 turning 17. Yeah, I'm 16 turning 17 by the time I'm living with my pops. And because he wasn't there as a child, it was always raw, like no freaky. Like the conversations was that was just who he was, like, and who he is, like, you know what I mean? So as a parent now, getting an opportunity to talk about some stuff, I found myself lost for words. I found myself stumbling. So how are you? Or are you having that conversation, right? Are you? So yeah, man, share with me, man. Share with me. There's so many other kids, right? So many other people that I interact with in regard to like being a mentor. So this conversation can come up again. You know what I mean? So I would love to know how people are having the talk with your kids, man. Hit me on the inbox. If you wanna connect on one of these, we could do a Zoom call. I interview you, all that, man. Because I feel like when you think about a parent, I feel like as a parent now, I can't even fathom what my mother was going through. I can't. My mom's 5 kids. I can't. 2-bedroom apartment. I know my mom worked in my elementary school, and by the time I was in high school, that's pretty much it. And she's always been in the school system, in the education space. But when I think about like when my pockets is tight or when I got to make a certain sacrifice and all that, I can't fathom what my mother was thinking about with all 5 of us. Really, in the beginning, it was just 3, but you had the same stuff: back to school, Easter, birthdays, Christmas. So, I would love to say that when I was younger, I thought I had all the answers. Like, nah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But kudos to my moms for figuring it out, because we never didn't have what we needed. And I think that's super commendable, especially when in this climate, in this social media space, you could scroll through your phone right now and see somebody getting evicted, see somebody, you read a story about somebody leaving their kid somewhere. There's some joint right now, I think in Oklahoma, where the woman is outside the clinic or the hospital. It's like a little chute. It's like a chute. If you don't want your child, you could go over there, drop the chute down, put the baby in there. The baby will be in that chute for no longer than a minute and a half. But as a parent, if you don't want the responsibilities, instead of, aborting the baby, you could give the baby up. Like, that's pain. All of that is pain. So I just was thinking about that. I don't even know how I segued into that, man. But definitely would like to know what my peers is doing, how my peers are having the talk. If you had it already, I would love to know what your kid said. And if you want to keep it anonymous, that's cool too. But I know kids is mad funny, because my little man was like, yeah, man, I know you take your thing, put it in her thing. I'm like, nah, that's crazy. So, yeah, man, definitely get with me, man. Get with me. I always try to leave or close out with something that I hope resonates with people. I hope it helps people. I want people to work on self-control. That's something I'm working on. I feel like worrying, I feel like monitoring what other people are doing, it's so dangerous. It is so dangerous. So I'm urging people to practice self-control and focus on self. Like, how do you know you got a hater? How do you know this person is a hater, right? You might be in a situation where you have a conversation, you don't like what somebody said, you feel like they're a hater. All right, at that point, that person is a hater, I'm good. From that point, you should just be disconnecting. You disconnect, there's no way for you to know if they still hating on you. They shouldn't. One thing the pastor said, I said before, you don't owe people access. You owe people respect. It's cool to give people respect. That's cool. Keep it there. But access, stop giving people access. Stop. You got to stop giving people access, B. I'm telling you now. You need to practice self-control, because you shouldn't be worried. If I know somebody hating on me, I know they don't mean me no. If I know they don't mean me no good, I promise you I would never know. I promise you. All of the people that's hating on me right now, I don't know. All the people that are hoping I'm not successful, I don't know. All of the people that have done ill to me, mistreated me, mismanaged their access they've had to me, taking me for granted, I promise you, I don't know how they feel. I don't know what they're doing, because that's a choice I made. I'm not cutting you off to check on you. I'm not limiting my access and then circling back to see how you feel. Oh, nah. Oh, yeah, I know that person is sick because I'm doing this, or I'm doing better. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. And I say that because you will block somebody. You would block somebody and then unblock them. I don't get it. And sometimes you know that the person don't mean you no good, and you would tolerate them and then try to use their wrongdoing as a reason for you to act out, a reason for you to crash out. You are responsible for you. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I just can't get it. I don't understand it. It might be a zillion people laughing at me on this show. It might be somebody looking at my workout video. He don't know what he doing. Somebody might be looking at my collection. He ain't nobody. Who knows? I know I wouldn't know. I would never. I barely read the comments. I only read the comments to engage because it's love on the comments. But the minute the comments get spicy and they might talk about my ears or something, or my teeth, or I could never, because I'm more worried about me. So I hope that everybody, I hope that resonates with somebody, man. Because when you start worrying about other people, you're done. You are done. And then they win. They win. So if your ultimate goal is to beat them, worrying about them, you're not going to win. So definitely wanted to point that out, man. But it has been a phenomenal weekend that I had. I'm sending some of this energy your way. I hope that you are continuing to work, because we are in February. And another thing I want to know is what you working on. Don't forget the New Year's resolution conversations. Are you still locked in? Are you still locked in? Now, this particular portion of the show is brought to you by Gains. Know what I mean? Shout out to the team out there. Gains by bulk. Know what I mean? Gains sent me the creatine pack. Easy, no fake stuff, soluble, quick. I'm on, I want to say 3 or 4 days of it. I go back and forth between 5 and 10 grams. I will have a full review for you when I'm done in 30 days. But shout out to the team over here at Gains. They sent me a card. Welcome to the fam. All that. So I am always going to try to never forget where I came from. And I'm always big on expressing gratitude. So shout out to Gains. So far so good when it comes to the product. Know what I mean? If you're looking for some creatine, tap in on the homies. They definitely getting right, because it just dissolves fast, so you ain't got to worry about it being all chunky and all that, and it doesn't change the taste. So I highly recommend creatine. It's one of the most studied supplements ever. So in regard to helping build muscle, mental, cognitive function, all of that fun stuff. So yeah, shout out to the team at Gains, man. And again, tap in with me. I want to know if you having that talk, how you having it, right? I want to know what type of shoes you copping for All-Star. I want to know how you feel about that, about those Bad Bunnies. And feel free, let's have a healthy dialect when it comes to this music. Especially, I don't want the J. Cole Mafia to smoke me. I loved the lyrics. Wasn't a fan of the, I have my reservations, right? But yeah, I love talking music, know what I mean? And I'm here, man. So definitely shout out to everybody. Put your best foot forward when it comes to these goals. Stay on track, right? Get with me, because I'm already with you. Be what you need. Be what you need, man. Be what you need. Listen, take that to the grave with you, man. If you know you out here being a slime ball, evil, do you want that in return? So be exactly what you need. Until next time.